don't know what it is about whenever I get a bright idea and I think that I've finally figured out my life. But whenever that is the case, it seems like the next day or maybe a few days later, something comes over me. And then all of a sudden, I know nothing and I'm starting back at square one. Welcome back to another episode of the Reflection Hour with your host, Sydney. Now, today I'm really thinking about how I know absolutely nothing. You know absolutely nothing. We like to think that we're fully in control of our lives, but in a lot of ways, we are not. Like, obviously, we can create plans and all of this, but ultimately, God has a plan for your life. And the more that you try to will your own plan into existence, the more that you will feel friction in your life because you are not flowing with life. You are actually pushing a rock up a metaphorical hill. And I believe that this has been what I've been doing in my life. And this is exactly why I feel as though I am starting all over again. Because I think there are certain things that I have been told from within me that I should be doing. And of course I do that. But I would say that in a lot of ways, I don't think I take it super seriously. And the reason I don't take it super seriously is because I want to believe that my plans are better than anything God could come up with, which is really just so stupid. And maybe you're doing that in your life too, and wondering why your life doesn't seem to work. And it's because you are not working with God. You're actually working against yourself. And when are you going to stop? When are you going to stop? And that's really a question I have for myself because I was really convinced that on this new career path, this is the one for me. It's so great. I'm going to continue to do that. This morning, I wake up, I go to work, and I just have this overwhelming feeling like this is not what I'm going to be doing with my life. This is something that I'm doing right now, but this is not something that I am meant to be doing. I'm not supposed to be going down this career path, and yet I'm here right now. And what do? Where am I going? What am I doing? Who am I? Like, who am I? Do you ever have that question? Who am I? Why was I put on this earth? And why does it feel like I've had so many trials and tribulations and nothing has really come of those trials and tribulations? I guess some of the things that have come from the trials and tribulations is that I can talk about it. But other than that, I don't really understand the point of any of it. And it's very interesting because it's just frustrating, really, more so than anything else. And in a lot of ways, I used to be more frustrated and I would throw fits. But these days, I kind of just don't do that because I figure, what's the point? I'm going to waste my energy on being frustrated that I don't know what's coming next. Or I could instead do the things that I like and trust that something's going to come out of all of this, even though I don't know what that something is. And that's pretty much the boat that I decided that I'm in from this point forward. And I'll be honest, it feels a little nice to kind of just take a step back. But I also so deeply want to know what's next. But the reality of the situation is that change is the only constant. And when you can become extremely comfortable with change and you don't internalize it as, oh my gosh, this is unfair. Why does it feel like I've been in this wilderness season for so long and nothing has come of it? I'm in the same places I've been for so long and it feels like nothing has changed. What's going on? You have to really just take a step back, meaning you have to surrender to the process and you have to really just go with the flow because you can't do anything else. Everything you try to do doesn't work, or it works for a little bit and then it stops working. So you just have to let it go. Like, stop being so hell bent on trying to figure things out and just allow the path to unfold. Damn, this is very much a lesson or a message to myself because it's hard. Like, change is hard. As much as I think I'm pretty good with change, and I definitely have gotten used to change over the years and used to the fact that I have this plan, going at it for a little while. Oh, thwarted. Don't go this way anymore. Okay, let's try a new path. Going down this path. Oh, thwarted. All right, let's go down this path. Oh, thwarted. All of the time, I am being steered in these different directions. I don't really know why I'm being steered in these different directions. And I learned something from it, obviously. And then I go on my merry way and don't know what way that is. It's very interesting. And I don't think people really understand what the faith walk is. The faith walk is that you are driving in pitch darkness and you can only see the 10 feet in front of you. That is what it's like to be walking with God, to be walking by faith and not by sight. And when I started to go down this road, I had no idea that I was still going to be living in my parents' house at 30. Like, if I thought that, do you think I would have went down this road? Absolutely not. I wouldn't have gone down this road. I would not have at all. Okay? But obviously, I was just kind of following whatever my intuition was telling me to do. And it's so interesting, because when I think back to when I graduated from college, so I graduated from college in 2017. I went to school with the idea that, oh my gosh, I should do investment banking. I should make a lot of money by working at an investment bank. And I remember during my first year, I was going to these demo days, and I kind of realized through going through those demo days that I absolutely did not want to work in investment banking because it was made to seem very sexy, but the reality of it was the complete opposite, okay? And one of my favorite shows, Industry, actually explored investment banking and how toxic it is, but whatever. So I'm going down this road. I'm like, yes, I'm going to study economics because I am interested in business, and that seems to make a lot of sense to me. Okay. Before I even got to the school I ended up graduating from, I went pre-med to another school. After a semester, I was like, absolutely not. I don't want to be a doctor. I thought I wanted to be a doctor, realized I didn't want to be a doctor, changed it to business, did economics, was so gung-ho about that till I realized what investment banking really was. Then I got the idea, oh yeah, Mark Zuckerberg, I should do what he's doing. I should go build a company that is going to become worth billions and trillions of dollars, and that will make me a billionaire. Cool. Started to really get into startups, was really learning about that. I loved IPOs, thought that was cool when it came to Wall Street. Obviously, that meant that I was supposed to be a startup founder this whole time. Okay? Ended up going to San Francisco maybe a few months after college and was really trying to make a startup work. I had linked with some people. We were building a company, but then I went out there and I wasn't able to be around them. And then I was going to pitch the company to a VC, and then it didn't work out. And all this other stuff, spent a few months in SF, then a few weeks in LA, then went back to SF, and then came back to New York, and then was here for a while, and then was in South Carolina with my grandparents, taking care of my grandparents. Don't know why I chose to do that for a few weeks, but I chose to do that. And then I somehow ended up back in New York. And then I was in Mexico City for 2 weeks. I was in Miami for 3 months. And I was back in New York again. And then I have been in New York since. And I really thought that I knew what I was doing, but I really don't. Got into retail, was doing that. Then went from one retailer to another retailer, And then I ended up leaving that retailer, going into corporate sales, left corporate sales after a month because I was like, this fucking sucks. I hate my life and I literally want to jump off of the top floor of this building. This is not sustainable. Became a pure bar front desk person, then went through the training, became a pure bar instructor, did that for like 3 months, maybe, hated it because I thought it was dumb. Not to say the workout is dumb, but I didn't like the parameters. I didn't like that I was being paid like $30 a class and I was expected to do so much work outside of the classes that I was paid for to actually prepare for the class that I was teaching. It didn't make sense to me. Okay. And then I was always up all the time because my other job, I was working at a boutique fitness studio and I had some crazy hours. Did I enjoy the fact that I could work out for free? Absolutely. But because my sleep schedule was so all over the place, my body was still holding on to a lot of weight. And I did not feel like I was at a place where my nervous system was actually ever good because I didn't have a schedule that was consistent. And so I get laid off from that job. Great, cool, whatever. Kind of happy about it. Why was I happy about it? Because I was over that crazy schedule. But I didn't want to leave because I didn't have anything to go into next. So that job, me being laid off from that job, forced me to look out elsewhere and figure something out. Started working in retail again. I currently work in retail. Thought that I was just going to go down this retail path. Oh my gosh, I must have been brought back to retail for a reason because I'm supposed to be here. And that's literally what I was thinking for the past, I guess, like 2 or 3 weeks until something happened today. And I was like, I cannot do this. This cannot be forever. This cannot even be for another 3 months. I don't enjoy this that much. And something hit me. I have been having these different jobs, okay? And it's like I fall in love with the idea of the job, but once I'm actually present in the job and I think about me as a person and I'm doing these tasks, I recognize that this is absolutely not me whatsoever. What the hell am I doing? And when I have that realization, it doesn't scare me anymore. It more so tells me that, oh, yeah, change is the only constant, babe. Change is the only constant. And by me constantly changing what I attach to and what I believe is my ultimate path, that is why my life feels a bit chaotic. And it's not to say that we all need to know exactly what we want to do in our life. And if we don't know exactly what we want to do in our life, then we're not going to get anywhere. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I am saying is that maybe, just maybe, you are attaching to these ideas of what you should do instead of looking at what is right in front of your face. And one of the things that has been right in front of my face is creating this podcast, creating content in general. I really like it. Dare I say, I love it. It's really fun for me. It's really easy for me to just riff and for time to just go by. And I don't know why that is. I have zero fucking clue. But one thing I do know is that in a lot of ways, it scares me shitless to think that I could actually make a living talking and doing something that I love. And I've been doing a lot of shadow work on this. I've really been diving deep into my own psyche to figure out, why is it that I believe I have to do something that has a clear path? Why do I believe that this couldn't work? Why do I believe that I have to fit myself into this box when I am not going to fit into a box? I was never meant to fit into a box. And yet I'm trying to fit myself into a box. Why am I doing that? Maybe you do that yourself. And it's so cliche. Follow your dreams, do what your soul is telling you to do. But how many of us actually listen to that? And I mean, listen to it and just fucking go, as opposed to going for a little bit, getting distracted, attaching to a new path, and all of that. I am ultimately of the firm belief that we are way more intelligent than we believe we are, and that we know a lot more about ourselves than we believe we do. And one of the major reasons why we think that we don't know ourselves as well is because we have people around us who are projecting onto us that we don't know ourselves because they don't know themselves. And a lot of times our strengths, we don't even see them because we're so focused on our weaknesses. I actually had a conversation with a family member the other day, and I was pointing out to this family member how something that they were saying to me, just in a lighthearted way, how that traced back to a pattern that I had, or that I have had in my own life when it comes to myself, and how I nitpick myself out the wazoo, as opposed to seeing when I have a win, celebrating my wins, and then moving on and using that as fuel. But instead, I have essentially been programmed to win, but to look at that win as oh, well, I could have done this better. I could have done that better. This, that, blah, right? And when you're so critical of yourself all the time, it really stops you from actually doing the thing that you should do, because you think it has to be perfect. You think that if it's not this perfect, absolute specimen, what's the point of me even putting it out there? Who's going to watch it? People are going to nitpick it out the wazoo too. So I might as well not even put it out there. And how terrible is that? It's so horrible. But I think so many people live this way, and so many people don't realize that they're living this way. So they don't even realize that maybe there's another way to live. And I guess that's kind of what's happening here. Change is the only constant, right? And I can change how I view myself. I can change how I view my place in the world, or I could not. And if I'm choosing to not do that, who am I helping and who am I hurting? By me not recognizing my own power, by you not recognizing your own power, you're only giving it away to other people who you are then allowing to have power over you. And I don't know about you, but I don't really like that, because I don't like when people feel like they have a say in what goes on in my life. And yet that has been how I've been operating. And maybe you're operating that way too. I think it's so easy to get caught up in living your life in that way, because that is how most people are living their life. Even when it comes to me creating these new podcast episodes, sometimes I feel like everything is working against me to get these messages out. And it's so frustrating, because I'll have an idea to do something, and then it's like I procrastinate. And then the time that I finally pick up the mic to actually record, then there's this sound over here, there's that sound over there, this person wants me, that person wants me. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And why does it feel like the thing that I'm quote unquote supposed to do, why are there so many obstacles in the way? And I think this is, again, a metaphor, okay? When you don't see your own strengths, okay, you are procrastinating doing the thing that you're good at because you don't believe you're good at it. So I think on a subconscious level, on an energetic level, things come in the way to disrupt you from doing the thing that you know you should be doing, God wants you to do. And when you can actually do the thing anyway, despite the roadblocks, that's when it seems like you enter a flow state, you enter a realm that you never had access to, but you have to continually show up so that it becomes your life, as opposed to being in it for a sec and then being out of it, being in it, being out of it, being in it, being out of it. And it feels like this has been the push and pull of my life. I'm on the path doing the creative thing. It's fun. It's great. It's feeding my soul. And then it's almost like I have another moment where reality sets in and I get to focus on the material, the 3D manifested world, as opposed to the 5D unmanifested world, which is where everything ultimately comes from before it is created and materialized into the 3D. And I think about this a lot of times when it comes to these dreams that I've had and just these insights that I get. I don't know where these things come from. I don't know why I decide to write down certain things, why I decide to do a voice note on certain things and then go back to it later, why I decide to go places at certain times. I don't know why I decide to not be friends with someone, even though if you see them and you see how we're interacting, they seem like a kind enough person, but for whatever reason, I just don't fuck with them. And it's not to say that I think they're bad. It's to say that there's something about their spirit that my spirit doesn't like. And I have no way to explain that. It's just a feeling, a vibe, and I'm not into it. I don't get it. I don't understand it at all. And I try to explain these things to people and they think I'm crazy. Sometimes I think I'm crazy because I don't know what the fuck is going on in my life. And that's why I am clinging now to the fact that one thing I do know is that things are going to change. And as long as I know that things are going to change, I can be okay with that. But actually, one more thing, okay? I'm also recognizing that I have gone through these different changes throughout my life and I'm still here. And the fact that I'm still here, even with all the bullshit that I've gone through, I think that says a lot about my character. And I think that says a lot about my resilience. And I was actually thinking about this earlier as I was driving home from work, that I would have never chosen to be resilient. If I had a choice some years back, hey, all right, you can be resilient and you can go through all these things and it's going to be hard, but you're going to come out on the other side. You're going to be able to be calm in the midst of the storm. Are you ready? I would say, hell no, I'm not ready for that. I do not want to do that. I actually want a cushy life. I want to chill out. I want to be regular. I want to live a normal life. Yeah, I would love to live an extraordinary life, but you know what? I'll take a regular life if it means that I won't be going through all of these struggles and challenges and that I'm not going to know what's going on half the time, that I'm going to be alone in the fire by myself with no one there. Yeah, you know what? I would not choose that. And I think most people, if they ask themselves that question, they wouldn't choose to go through hardships, okay? They would choose the easy life. And that's what I would have chosen, okay? When I went to San Francisco, I had no idea what I was doing. I just knew I had a dream. I had a carry-on suitcase and I had my favorite clothing in there at the time. And that's what I was doing. I was living out of a suitcase. I was working in downtown SF. I was sitting in Dolores Park smoking my J because I was waiting to get back into the house where I was sleeping on a couch because I just wanted to make San Francisco work, okay? I'm fucking insane. And I don't know why that's the case. I don't know why I'm still alive in a lot of ways, because in so many ways, I should not be here. I should actually be 6 feet under, to be honest. And yet, by the glory and mercy of God, I am still here on this planet doing God knows what, talking into this mic to I don't even know who. I don't know who's listening to this, but I know it is so freaking cathartic for me. And I see these visions of myself and the life that I'm going to live. And in a lot of ways, it feels so distant from what I'm doing right now. And I just can't fathom how all of this is going to come together. I have no idea. And maybe you have zero clue how things are going to come together in your life. But the key is you have to keep going. You have to continue to wake up every single day and trust that you have the breath of life in your lungs for a reason. I don't know the fucking reason. I don't know the reason that they're in my lungs. I'll be honest. I have no idea. And the only force that actually knows is God, is the universe, whatever you want to call it, source, however you see it. That is the only thing that you can really look to, the source, as to what is it that you need to know. And also, a lot of times, even when you ask, hey, what am I supposed to know? You may not get an answer. And it feels like for a lot of my life, I've asked, I've called, hey, can you let me know, like, what's the dealio here? Which direction do you want me to go? I don't hear anything. So what do? I just fucking like get up and I do the things that I know I enjoy doing, whether that's talking to this mic, whether that's turning on my camera, whether that's going on a walk or doing a workout or writing in my journal. I do the things that feel like I can't live without them. And I think maybe that's the remedy. Maybe that's the remedy to figuring out your life. You stop trying to figure it out and you just do the things that you enjoy doing. And it could all be so much easier than we're making it, probably. I don't really know. I'm just someone talking, into the ether. I have no idea what's going on. And, every time I record this podcast, I'm always staring at the Stanford commencement address that Steve Jobs did in 2005. Not the whole thing, but this one part of it, which I feel compelled to read again today. I know I've read it on previous episodes before, but it says, your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary. And that's why you have to be okay with change, because you may not have the full picture, but your intuition knows where it's going. Your heart knows where it's going. But we have been so jaded by life, so jaded by other people, by experiences, by things not going our way in the past, by people doing us dirty, that we start to believe that we don't know what we're doing, like that we are not on the right path. And I think you're really not on the right path when you feel terrible every day. That's how you know you should not be doing what you're doing. And that's how I felt when I was working in corporate sales. I had a feeling deep within me that something was horrendously wrong. So wrong to the point where if I continued to do that job another day, I couldn't fathom it. And I hope you don't get to that point. Sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes you got to rage quit something and be over it and do something else, and you will recover. And that's essentially what happened to me. But it can be scary to do that. It can be extremely risky to follow your intuition. But you know what's riskier? I think what's riskier is pretending like you don't have dreams and pretending like everything's okay, even though your body is telling you something else. Your income is telling you something else. And this is not to say that when you're following your dreams, your income won't take a dip, because I know for sure, I am the first one to say it will take a dip. It has taken a dip. And I don't love it, but if you continue to be on that path and you actually create something that creates value in the world, all that money will come back to you and then some, multiples of it. But you have to really stop being so focused on the 3D world. And again, I'm talking to myself here because it's so easy to get caught up in the 3D world. It's so easy to get caught up in what's on the news or what your family is telling you or what society is telling you. But let's be honest here, okay? Most of the people who are telling us how to live our lives are not happy in theirs. So why would I listen to you? You know? Anyway, at this point, I feel like I'm probably rambling on a little bit, but I really just wanted to get that off of my chest because, again, I'm figuring my life out as I go. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Does anybody really know what's going on? I don't think they do. I think people can convince themselves that they know what's going on, but they really don't. The only source that you can look to is really your heart and intuition. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary. And when you try to fit yourself in a box, when you try to make your life follow this career trajectory that has been laid out and that has been done before, you are not living an authentic life. Because I believe an authentic life doesn't have a path that's pre-planned out. Maybe it's pre-planned out in the sense that God pre-planned it out, but you're not going to be able to look into a book and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to do that. It's funny actually. So today when I was at work, I was talking to this woman in the store and she was telling me about how she works at a floral shop. And I asked her off the cuff, did you plan on working at a floral shop like when you were really young? She said, absolutely not. I ended up in a floral shop doing some temp work and I never left. And isn't that the case for so many people? You just start doing random things and it's like the path unfolds as you walk down it. And yet we are trying to be impressive, to make sense to ourselves and other people, but it's like, what makes sense? Nothing makes sense. So why are you trying to make sense of the path that you've been going down all of these years? It's not going to make sense until you're looking back and connecting the dots. And I have really been trying to connect the dots as I move forward. And I think that's my biggest issue. Maybe it's your biggest issue too. You're not going to be able to do it that way. And I think that's exactly why I feel as though I figured it out. Oh my gosh, I'm supposed to do this in my life. And then, whoa, whiplash. Something happens and I realize, actually, that's not what I'm supposed to do. It's because I am trying to connect dots too early. I need to just continue to live my life and I need to be in the present moment. I need to stop trying to distract myself from my life and live it. You need to do that too, probably. I don't know. I think we could all use that. And in all honesty, I would love to do a dopamine detox because as much as I do enjoy current technology and what it's afforded us and all of that, it can be overwhelming. It's hard to hear yourself when you're constantly there for other people in the form of you open your phone and people are creating all this content, myself included, that is talking at you and you can't hear yourself. It's hard when you're getting these little dopamine hits from scrolling, from nicotine, from alcohol, from any sort of drug, from, eating sweets. It's hard. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. And when you try to change your habits, it's hard because you're not used to it and you don't really want to change. Okay, you actually want to stay the same. You want to stay in a box. Your ego wants to keep you in the box of what it knows you as because it feels like a threat when you venture outside of that and do something different. And I've just been coming up against this a lot in my life when it comes to changing my habits and when it comes to changing my idea of what my life should look like. That has been the hardest thing for me. And that's why for so long, I was so hell-bent on becoming a startup founder because I attached this idea years ago and I was under the impression that once I became a billionaire, my life would just be amazing and awesome. But it's like, if your life is not amazing and awesome as you're building towards that, who really gives a fuck? Because at a certain point in time, you're going to have the money, all this money, but you're going to feel terrible because you didn't enjoy the journey along the way. And once you have the money, once you have all this stuff, you realize that the stuff is empty. It doesn't mean anything if you can't share it with people, if you're not enjoying what you're doing on a daily basis. Like, this is what matters in life. The journey of life is why we are alive. That's the only reason that we live these lives. Just think about it. Even if you were playing Sims on the computer, you enjoy playing the Sims because you get to see them go through all these things. You're not just excited to now you have the house, now you have the family. No, you want to see the storyline. You want to experience the storyline. You need to do that in your own life. I need to do that in my own life. And we make it so difficult for ourselves because we want to know how it ends. Stop trying to figure out how it ends. Stop. Just be present for the journey. Be present for the change. Brace for the inevitable, which is change. And trust that things are working out even though you can't see how. As long as you continue to get up every day and you pour into yourself, you pour into your hobbies, who knows what's going to pop off? I don't know. Who can know? Only God knows. But if you don't even allow yourself to have that encounter with God, universe, source, because you don't believe that your hobbies, your passions are worth your time because you can't monetize them immediately, life just becomes dull. And I don't want to have a dull life. I don't know about you. Hopefully you don't want to have a dull life. And I just think, what else do we have in life? If we don't have the enjoyable life, like, what's the point? If we can't find the joy in life, I should say, what's the point? There's no point. I think I'm done for now, unless I have some more thoughts, but I don't think I will. So if you like this message, like, comment, subscribe. If you think a friend should hear it, share it with them. And, remember, change is the only constant. How are you going to handle it? Are you going to resist it? Or are you going to go with it and make the best of it? I'm choosing to make the best of it. And maybe you will too. I don't know. It's up to you. It's your life. So, love ya. See you in the next one. Bye.